Hey everybody, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is the Moon. The Moon is connected with the sign of Pisces. We also have Three of Wands and King of Cups. I'd say that you're deep inside some venture here. The Moon speaks about our psyches, it speaks about spiritual matters, it speaks about like hidden things and whatnot. And having the Three of Wands, I feel like there's some hidden territory that may not be so hidden to you much so any longer, because there's been a lot of exploring that you've been doing. This can be like exploring esoteric things, this can be exploring healing, exploring psychology, all of the things that are connected with like unseen things for the most part, or it can be these like less tangible things. It can be your own emotions, it can be the minds of yours and others, it can be all things connected with. The Moon is feeling like a 12th house to me right now, the way that I'm seeing this, which again is just this sort of like hidden, more behind the scenes energy territory that you step into. Having Three of Wands would show a lot of advancement that's been being made, and this can be just advancement that's been being made more so behind the scenes. And to have the King of Cups there, this feels like the part of you that's actively exploring within this. But it can be something that's not so much put out there. This can be something that's maybe more so kept to yourself, or just like an arrangement that you have that can be more of an internal one. And so it's maybe not so observable from the outside looking in. And this can also be something that you've been doing, that you've been paying a close eye on. You know, like this can be something maybe privately that you are dealing with, that you feel like you're progressing through. It can be something that maybe just isn't being blasted out there that you have going on. And in general, this can be like your own stuff that you've been working through. Maybe psychologically you've been working through something. Like maybe with your mental health you've been working through something. Maybe when it comes to healing there's something that you've been working through. When it comes to your spirituality there's something that's been being worked on. I am also seeing Eight of Cups and Judgment, and I'm seeing Hanged Man as well. With Eight of Cups, there can be a consideration about moves that you want to be making, where you feel like you belong, where you feel like you don't belong, and that can be assessed through resonance that you're feeling or not feeling, connection that you're feeling or not feeling, fulfillment that you're feeling or not feeling. These can be the things that are deciding factors when you're sort of trying to gauge this answer for yourself. Having Judgment is about taking a close look at things to assess, and then having Hanged Man is about trying to see what we haven't been seeing, allowing our perspective to shift as necessary, the way that it evolves as we evolve, as our understanding evolves. Maybe this is also a question that you feel like you don't necessarily want to be asking yourself right now. Maybe this was something where you were questioning something, you were thinking about it, maybe giving it a lot of attention. Having Hanged Man there can mean like, maybe I just need to stick with what I'm doing for right now and not think about this so much to the point where it's like every day, all day, I'm analyzing this, or like very frequently I'm analyzing this. Having Hanged Man there can sort of change things up in a way where we can release some of that, where we can let go of some of that, only because we're understanding something else going on. You know, like it can be, I've been asking myself this because I feel like it's a really important question. Then we have the Hanged Man there, and you may feel like it's not so much of an important question anymore. Maybe you feel like it's something you don't need the answer to right now, and so maybe you're going to be focusing on other things then. Possibly. It can also show you too with the Hanged Man, like if you haven't been being totally honest with yourself, that can be a time too where this gets looked at. Okay, so the moon is connected with 10 of Swords. So I'd say that this is something that you're going through. At the same time, I feel like this isn't... feels like something that has happened that you're in the process of going through, or that has recently happened, that like you're aware of this experience, but it may not be like news to everybody that this is something that you're going through or something that you've gone through. Now I'm seeing 10 of Swords is ultimately going to connect with Hanged Man, which means that this is going to be about releasing and ending. But having the moon above it can be healing from this. It can be doing the inner work. And this can also be something that for some of you, the moon can indicate like, I'm going through this and I'm experiencing this, but I'm not telling everybody about this. Like maybe this is something that you feel like is just your own business. And then also too, to have Knight of Wands there, this can be something that maybe you're like, okay, this is something that's not necessarily easy, but I'm gonna like be brave about it right now and I'm just gonna move through it. Maybe you feel like you need to face this in order to heal. And for some of you, this is something that already happened, but it can still be sort of playing around with in your head, and it's unprocessed and it has not been integrated. And this is going to be the time that you integrate it now. I think too that for some of you, something that you're going to realize is that the reason that you've been hanging on to this 10 of Swords, which can be like, let's use an example. Let's say that you and another person connected with each other and something happened and things didn't end up working out with them, but you like still are holding on to it for some reason. You know, it can be like holding on to the pain, holding on to the mystery, the potential, the like what ifs and all of that. Having this 8 of Cups here feels like what's going to be released, like what you're going to realize ultimately is that you wouldn't have found what you were really looking for within that, and this is a thing that's helpful for you moving forward. And so going from 10 of Swords to Hanged Man doesn't mean like I'm going to let something go that I don't understand. That's not what it means. It means I can release something and allow it to be integrated once I gain the full perspective of it. And until then, it can be something that still lingers, even if it's more on an unconscious level. Because with the moon there, it can be like, I feel pieces of it coming up sometimes, but it's like it happened at that point in time, so it's not even a thing anymore. Meanwhile, it's still affecting things. Or it's just something that maybe you haven't given a lot of recognition to. Whatever it is, it does feel like it's like deeply embedded within there, and it's something that's still going on, even though technically like this situation, we've like moved past that situation. And there can be a part of you too that thinks about moving in this direction, not to go back into something, but more so to move through it so that it can be, so that you can like catch up to today. So that healing can be allowed. for some of you too, it's like, it doesn't need to be a partnership. Like maybe this is something in the past that happened with a parent or like an authority figure or something that's still being held onto, that even though the situation isn't happening anymore, that is still there. It's still stinging. It's like still emitting something. And deeply within your psyche, you would feel this energetically because of the moon being over it. But the moon can also sort of keep things veiled as well. So this can be about going in there and sort of like looking for this and seeing that it's still there. It's like you like clean out your car, but something's still smelling within it, and you end up going back and looking in it, and you realize there's like something rotting within there. It's kind of like that. And the hope is to go back and remove this, which means to process it so it can be integrated. Why I'm clarifying that is because removing kind of sounds like taking it and throwing it away, and it feels like that may have been what was done. It's not just about throwing something away, it's about recognizing it so it can be integrated, so then it like goes back with everything else. It's kind of like recycling it. Because integration really is the ultimate key to all of this. That is how we keep moving forward. That is how we come into the present as fully as possible. Having 8 of Cups there is going to be getting to a point where you can recognize that moving forward and being present within your life is really where you find what you want, not in holding on to the past and refusing to integrate it, even though we don't necessarily do that on purpose. There's a reason why we hold on to past things. And until we find out that reason and reason with ourselves to integrate it, to process and to integrate it, it's still there, and it's still something that holds us back from living our lives presently. And so there's a very major spiritual evolving that's happening right now within your life, and this is something that is ready to be addressed now. And even though it doesn't look like it's something that's currently occurring as far as the events, it's something that had already happened, yet it's something that still sticks with you, as if it's presently still going on. That's the effect that it has on you. And it can be something that holds you back from living your life in the way that you want to and focusing on the things that you want to now. It can be something where you feel like your energy keeps like running back to that, instead of being in the present moment and moving fully in the present moment. So I think that you're gonna have to find your why. We have some type of belief that's saying it's better to hold on to this and not process it than to be in the present moment for some reason. So figuring that out, that's going to be the key to this, to being able to process and integrate. And it's going to help you become one with your psyche again. It's going to help you reunite. If you didn't get reciprocity in that past situation, could feel like it wasn't fair, whatever happened, or like you put in the energy, but then that wasn't matched. Whatever that was that happened within the exchange, holding on to it is not going to make that happen. The only place where you can get reciprocity is in the present moment. It's the notion that like the only thing that guarantees, if you're staying in the past with something and still holding on to the past, the only thing that's guaranteed by that, the only thing that guarantees is not finding that reciprocity that you're looking for. Even though we can still be looking back to it and still wanting it, as much as we want it, it's putting off accepting the reality of that. And also putting off living in the present, which is where you're going to find reciprocity. That's to give yourself a real chance in finding reciprocity, in finding something that is reflective of your worth. The only place that's guaranteed not to happen is in the past. But yeah, you can still be looking for reciprocity in that present moment, and that's why it hasn't been let go of. So this is going to help you do the release. I'm seeing there is a connection that's going to be coming up. This is helping you further connect with yourself. Okay, so there is healing that's happening. I'm seeing you making progress with your relationship with yourself. Feels like, what are you spending time doing? Where are you spending time focusing your energy? Because the Knight of Swords is that, or not the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands is that part of you that it's like what you're using your energy for and what you're aiming it towards. So if you were to focus it, where is it going towards? And I'm seeing the Ten of Swords. So you can be like using your energy right now to just keep revisiting this past situation. Meanwhile, it's like you don't get a different outcome. And the reason why we can do that too is just still this like lack of integration of it. Like, haven't fully accepted the situation, because then what am I going to have to admit? That there was a lack of reciprocity within that. And that can be something that we don't really want to accept. It can be something that we have a hard time with. For some of you too, this was like on an emotional or psychological level. Some of you too, I'm seeing this be, this feels like it can be a social thing. Like, I'm seeing for some of you, this can be a friendship. For some of you, this can be like a group of people. I mean, it like specifics don't so much matter. It does feel like you're going to find like a new person. You're going to find new people that you connect with. This is you connecting with yourself first, moving through this process. And when you do that, you can see yourself clearly and you understand moving forward what is an energetic match for you. Whatever was going on there was not a match for you. In accepting this, it allows you to move forward and connect with what a match actually is. So you get to have that experience that you want to have. Because isn't this all about having that experience? And this is how you can have that. So it's going to allow you to release it so you can have this experience that you want. It's kind of like you meet somebody, something goes down with them, it ends up like not going the way that you want, and so there can be just this constant like thinking about this, focusing on this, like checking up on them, like all this stuff that's not going to change this situation, but it keeps your energy like circulating around that. Meanwhile, it's like there have been 5 opportunities for you to like meet other people, but when it's like you're out at the coffee shop and like somebody comes in that you would actually be friends with, but you're like on your phone checking up about that past person. And so you miss this person that walks in and like saw you, and if you were looking at them, like you guys would have maybe like sat and talked or something like that. You know, it can be situations like this where there's not even a full realization of how this is cutting off current opportunities for you. Or, you know, like looking at things and then getting into a mood about it when you were like invited out, and then you cancel plans, and like that's when you would have met someone. You know, it just can be little things like this that keeps you circulating around a painful situation that doesn't change. It's still the same thing, you know, like none of this makes it reciprocal. It just keeps you in that state of pain, unprocessed. And this is about moving forward now. And what needs to be admitted is that that wasn't what you were looking for. So now you can go and find what you're looking for. And connect with that. But some of you too, seeing Neptune here, you can still be saying like, it should have worked. Like, we would have been great friends, or we would have been so compatible, or like they would have been my partner, like we would have gotten married, like whatever it is that's going on in your head, because we have Neptune here. These are the stories that keep you from releasing that, because that's not what happened. And so whatever the potential would have been, it's still keeping you circulating around that and not allowing you to move forward to connect with what you would connect with. So having that energy of Neptune there, like maybe there was Neptune involved in this situation where it really can keep you in that like alternate reality fantasy space of like, what if this would have happened? What if that would have happened? And it's not to say that like those things couldn't be possibilities. Maybe they could, but that's not what happened. And it feels like time and time again, it keeps you from the present moment, which is where you can find like the real deal of what that is that you're looking for. That's where you're going to find it. So it's about saying too, like, how are you using your energy? Are you using it to like, to look them up and to do this and to do that? Is that where your energy keeps going to? Or are you channeling your energy presently and recognizing like, hey, I really want to have this experience. Let me open myself up to present opportunities where I really can find that, because it really is possible for that to happen. And it's going to allow you to have this experience that you want. Because it really is something that you can experience. You can find someone, you can find people that are really on the same page with you. I'm seeing Pisces, and then I'm also seeing Pluto, and I'm seeing Neptune. Having Pluto next to Neptune, this is going to help you see through the fantasy space and bring you into reality and what's possible for you now. And see too, anywhere where you're out of touch, anywhere where you can be sort of escaping into something rather than living your life presently. Anywhere where you can be like drifting off into a fantasy of some sort. Even though that Ten of Swords is like, can be a painful sort of fantasy, like something that brings about more of that, it can still feel like a bit of a fantasy, you know, like keeping us away from accepting what has truly happened. And the power is going to be in the accepting. Allowing yourself to heal and to move forward. And again, get to have that experience that you want to have. But you have to be presently living your life in order to have that happen. So that's what this is speaking on. So it's helping you move through that psychological stuff. Those things too that you're thinking about, like, if things would have just gone like this, if things would have just gone like that, this can be informing you of what you're looking for moving forward. So use that as information too. That can be something that helps shape like your sort of perception of what to be looking out for. And also too, this is about, I think, like paying attention to what you're using your energy for. Like, are you using it in a way that's like keeping you stuck, or are you using it in a way where you're proactive, where you can really be like connecting with the things that you want to be connecting with? Or are you actively making moves against that? And so I feel like that's also too why judgment is here, to make sure that you're aware of the way that you're using your energy and looking at it and figuring out whether it's doing something that you want to do within your life or if it's actually keeping you away from what you want. Like, is that a good use of your energy? All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.